Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and blessings to the hopeful elect, teaching this word with sincerity and in truth. It's your brother Kawabaya with another video coming back at you to feed the lambs and the flock of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, as we've been appointed to do, especially in these last days. Just like what Yahweh Shai told Peter, and he asked him 3 times, if you love me, Peter, feed my lambs and feed my sheep, feed my flock, so that's what we're supposed to do. And in this lesson, I just wanted to touch on, just quickly touch on the women, man. All right. And, pretty much, the women has been coming up as of late, especially this week. And we're dealing with these women, man. For the most part, these women are nothing but groupies, man. All right. And why do I say that? These women are groupies, man. All right. And they're attracted to power. They're attracted to celebrity status and fame. That's why you see, I was meditating on this. I was talking with a brother, and the inspiration ultimately comes down the line through the spirit from the videos that have been done about the woman, especially Apostle Bar's video about, the response that he did to the, about the women, on his channel. And, he even mentioned about, these rappers and how these rappers, why do you think these rappers always have a group, groupies of women, waiting for them backstage and, just wanting to be around it? Because why? Because they're attracted to power. Why? Because they're groupies. Okay? They are nothing but groupies, man. All right? And what's the definition of a groupie? And I got it right here. Groupie meaning. It says a young woman, right, who regularly follows a pop group or other celebrity, right? Especially in the hope of having a sexual relationship with them. And these groupies, man, it doesn't even matter. Hey, most of them are not virgins, okay? Most of them just hop around. They got different celebrities that they follow. Some of them, and they always seem to end up backstage, or they might be aiming to get backstage. They go out with their girls, they go out with their friends, but the whole group of them that go out, a bunch of fucking chickens flocking together. A lot of them, they hope to end up, bagging the guy with the strongest power in his among his people or among his crowd, and that's why these women they like these men that are like have authority and power over other men and so on and so forth. All right, like even if it's in a bad way. All right, like a case in point, drug dealers. You get a drug dealer that's got, fucking all these muscles, walks around with a tank top on. He's got the fucking flashy car. He's got the big, the fuck off diamond jewels and all that sort of stuff. Hopping in and out of big boy cars. These women, they fucking, when they see these men, their jaw hits the floor, man. All right. And many of us, may even, if you got a woman, even in this truth, many of us have women that you best believe in their spare time, their jaw hits the floor for these guys as well, man. And we're not ignorant of that. All right, because these women are groupies, man. And they fantasize about getting with these dirty, shit-stained drawer-wearing niggas, man. All right? And whether they're fucking bullies in the hood, they sell crack or cocaine or drugs or whatever. Case in point, you could have a mom, right, raising children. One child, he stays out of trouble, but the other child, he's a drug dealer. But because he brings home so much money, the mom won't say nothing to the drug dealer. She'll just keep taking the money from him. But the child that stays out of trouble, he gets the most ag. All right? And this is why it's important to have a man in the house, man. But anyway, I'm rambling on. Before I continue rambling on, right? Let me finish off this definition of groupie, right? It says an enthusiastic or uncritical follower. And that down here, people also ask, what does groupie mean in slang? A fan, right? A fan of a rock group who usually follows, or it could just not be a rock group. It could be a celebrity. It could be someone of status, someone of status that they follow after unconditionally. Okay, this is who usually follows the group around on concert tours. An admirer of a celebrity who attends as many of his or her public appearances as possible. And I got an example in the scriptures of women, showing themselves to be nothing but groupies. All right. Now this is the, in the Old Testament, this is the book of 1 Samuel, the 18th chapter. All right. And this is when David returned from the slaughter of the Philistines. All right. So let me start from 1 Samuel 18 and 5. It says, and David went out whithersoever Saul sent him, and behaved himself wisely, and Saul set him over the men of war. Okay, so Saul set David over what? The men of war. So he was a man of great character. He had men that were underneath him, man. All right, it says, and he was accepted in the sight of all the people, also in the sight of Saul's servant. And why? But ultimately because the Lord was dealing with David. All right, the Lord was working with him. The spirit was being taken. Well, the spirit hadn't been taken from Saul yet. It's going to go on to tell you that. But the spirit was working with David. He was anointed to be the next king. All right. But let's keep going on. Verse 6, it says, and it came to pass as they came when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, that the women, all right, check this out. The women came out of all cities of Israel. Women came from all cities of Israel for David when he came back from the slaughter of the Philistines, man. Why? Because he was a man of war. He had men underneath him. And pretty much the Lord was dealing with him in the spirit. All right. So that fame, the noise of David's fame noised abroad. And guess what? The women came out of all the cities to greet him when he came back from the slaughter of the Philistines. All right. It says singing and dancing to meet, right, King Saul, right, with tabrets, with joy and instruments of music. All right. So the King Saul came back with David, and they came back to meet King Saul with tabrets of joy. So they had instruments of music. But check out what the women said. And the women answered one another as they played and said, Saul has slain his thousands and David his 10,000s. Okay. So they were pretty much cheering at the fact that, that these men were slaying other men. Okay. They were cheering. They were, pretty much being groupies, man. And that's what groupies do. Okay. Because who was the ancient celebrities at that time? Okay. Saul and more so David. All right. Soon to be King David. Because they were saying what? Saul was slain his thousands, but David his 10,000s. So they were talking among themselves. In order for them to be chanting that and singing that and talking and answering among themselves, they had to be talking about the men, that King David was slain, or David was slain at that time. All right, and Saul was slain. So they were talking. The point I'm trying to make is these women were attracted to that. Okay, so they were not in what they were displaying groupie behavior. All right, it says, and Saul was very rough, and the saying displeased him, and he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed but thousands. And what can he have more but the kingdom? And Saul eyed David from that day forward. And you see from that, the women were a catalyst, for Saul to start eyeing David from that very moment. All right, because they were chanting that David slew more men than Saul was slain. So you see, man, these women, the point is these women they're just groupies, man. All right, they're just groupies. All right, they're nothing but fans. All right, and they're attracted to where the power is. And that's why when we get the power, right, remember the scripture says, in the day of thy power, thy people shall be willing. Okay, what does a groupie girl mean? A young person, especially a teenage girl, who is an ardent admirer of rock musicians and may follow them on tour. All right, an ardent fan of a celebrity or a particular of a particular activity. All right, for example, a tennis groupie. So guess what, man? They were fans because they were celebrities. All right, these women were following. What do groupies do? Right, a groupie, as identified by Wikipedia, is a fan who follows a person or band around while they are on tour, or who attends as many of their public appearances as possible. All right, so there you go, man. Women are fans, man. All right, and that's why you you deal with these women for what it is, man. They're just groupies, bro. They're attracted to power. And that's why, it's very, very important not to be getting caught up with these women right now, because guess what? We don't have the power, all right? Esau has the power, okay? The time is going to come for us to be set up in rulership on the earth. We're going to be joint heirs with Yahushua, but that time has not come yet, man. All right? Right now, we're going for our punishment, man. All right? But when that noise and that fame, right, noise is abroad, because that's exactly going to come. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 19. Behold, at that time, I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. Because right now we're being put to shame, right? The scriptures speak about the foolishness of preaching. All right? People walk past us at the camp and they tell us get a job. They say all kinds of things. But the scripture says, for what if some shall not believe? All right? Here it is. We're laying up our treasures in heaven, man. All right? And that's all going to pay off in due time. But we just got to keep on holding on, man. All right? He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. Because you best believe, man, the elect, when all hell breaks loose out here, this is when these women they're gonna be begging to get with the real. You want to talk about high value men? You want to talk about these fucking celebrities ain't gonna have shit on the elect at that time. When Yahushua and the angels are here, right? The real high value men are gonna be the elect, okay? Because they're gonna get beamed up into them ships. All right, and the women is only going to be saved through the men. How about that? So the real true high value men it starts with the elect, man. Okay, so when that time comes, when we get that praise and fame in the land where we've been put to shame, you best believe that these groupies are going to come flocking, and that's why the scripture says in Isaiah 4:1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, we will wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So that's going to happen. And 7 represents completion. So, look, man, these women will come. Okay, especially when all hell breaks loose and the Lord is dealing with the elect. Remember, just like the Lord was dealing with King David. All right, the Lord was dealing with David, man, at that time, He was dealing with him. And guess what? Because the Lord was dealing with him, that's why you heard them groupies that were saying, oh, David has slain his tens of thousands. And from that day, that's what made Saul start to eye David in a bad light, man. All right. And then the spirit was taken from Saul. All right. Saul started throwing javelins at David and so on and so forth. So, these women, they have the ability to get all up in your psyche, man. That's the point. These women have the ability to manipulate situations, man. They're masterminds when it comes to wickedness, and they're attracted to power. And because we don't have that power right now, that makes them very, very dangerous. The woman being the glory of the man. So we have to be very, very, very careful with how and where we're putting our energy, or what we're putting our energy into, man. All right, this is Isaiah 32. This is an oldie but goodie. Yep, and 2. It says, and a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as the rivers of water. And notice it don't say a woman. Okay, it says a man, right? Shall be an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, and as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Okay, so you think in that day, when all hell breaks loose and Jacob's trouble is here, and the man is like a hiding place from the wind, right? The wind representing what? The tribulation, the destruction, And then, because remember, the woman is only getting saved by the man. All right? And not just any man. It's got to be a man of the Lord. Okay? And that's when the women are going to come running, man. All right? So I believe I made the point, man. I typed in the word groupie. I just said, you know what? I need to do a video on this, man. And these groupies, these women are groupies, man. All right? What does you act like a groupie mean? A groupie is a person that seeks emotional and sexual intimacy with a musician or other celebrity or public figure. And David and Saul were public figures at that time in the ancient world. All right, they just came back from the slaughter of the Philistines. And what were these women doing? They were out there with joy and instruments and music, and they were chanting, and singing. Saul has slain his thousands and David his 10,000. So these women are They're attracted to power, man. So I just wanted to speak on that point. All right, these women out here, they're just groupies, man. And when we get the power, that's when it's all gonna be. We ain't gonna have to do nothing, man. All right, we're gonna be like women magnets. They're just gonna be flocking to us, man. All right. So with that, man, I pray you were edified. Till the next time, I'm gonna say shalom.